We begin with global reaction and questions about leadership after Iran's president was killed in a helicopter crash. President Ebrahim Raisi was returning with a government delegation after attending the opening of a dam on the border with Azerbaijan. The chopper went down in a mountainous region. The country's foreign minister and other senior officials were also killed. Raisi was the second most powerful leader in the nation, as seen as a possible successor to the supreme leader. His death comes at a time of heightened tensions in the Middle East with wars, proxy wars, and Iran's efforts to grow its nuclear arsenal. In a statement Monday, the U.S. offered condolences for the victims of the crash. The State Department said, quote, as Iran selects a new president, we reaffirm our support for the Iranian people and their struggle for human rights and fundamental freedoms. For more on this, let's bring in CBS News national security contributor Sam Vinograd from the White House. She is the former Assistant Secretary for Counterterrorism and Threat Prevention at the Department of Homeland Security. Sam, so good to see you again. This incident has left Iran now without two hardliner key leaders who are completely in line with the policies of the Supreme Leader and the Islamic Republic. How is the U.S. assessing the situation tonight?
Well, Jeff, despite the shocking headlines, when it comes to actual impact for Iran's foreign policy and domestic policies, the U.S. administration is not expecting any material shift. While President Raisi may have been the second most important man in Iran, the gap between him and the supreme leader is quite significant. When we think about President Raisi's role, he was really more of an implementer of the supreme leader's agenda rather than a president in the way that we think about it here in the U.S. So there is really no assessment that Iran's global agenda or domestic agenda will change significantly despite the transition in presidents.
That said, it's clearly destabilized them at least a little bit here, especially since the proxy war between the U.S. and Iran in the background of what's happening between Israel and Hamas has really exploded in the last month or so. How does it affect that?
Well, the supreme leader and other leaders still in Iran have gone to great lengths to try to project an image of stability by stressing that there is no disruption in the regular course of business in Iran at the moment. It is worth noting, however, Jeff, that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, which is fundamental to mobilizing and managing Iran's proxies, did not and does not report to the president of Iran. They do report to the supreme leader. So again, I don't see a disruption on the horizon when it comes to Iran's posture globally and its war with Israel.
There is a little bit of an odd blame game taking place over Raisi's death and the crash itself. How is that affecting everything else that's happening?
Well, within Iran right now, there are preparations underway to try to plan for a transition and what they are calling an election. But frankly, Jeff, the elections in Iran are really a farce. The candidates are really chosen by an assembly of individuals aligned with the supreme leader. So there will be days of mourning and then about 50 days pursuant to the Iranian constitution to hold another presidential election. But again, that president is really going to be hand-selected by the supreme leader. And at the same time, the real transition that many are focused on is the supreme leader's transition. The President Raisi, who is now deceased, had been seen as a hand-picked successor to the supreme leader. Now that he is no longer in the picture, analysts are really trying to ascertain who will succeed the supreme leader, and most bets are that the supreme leader's son, who is a hardline cleric, is next in line for that key role within Iran.
Although he's faced some criticism, of course, as well, and as the supreme leader you mentioned is 85 years old and not in good health. Sam Vinograd, thank you so much.